In the area of environment, science, and technology. And I know you are going to bring that to the ministry in which you're going to work. You've been a ranking member of the Environment, Science, and Technology Committee, and we did quite some good work together when I was a deputy minister of that ministry. So I have no doubt in my mind that you are going to excel in your new endeavor. But I have two friendly questions for you. The first one is on, very friendly. It's in an area that you are very interested in, I know, and that is the area of sustainable development goals. I know you can tell the 17 at a go, but I'm limiting yourself to only the 3 that affect the environment, and how you think Ghana implementing the goals, trying to satisfy the goals, will be dealing with the several environmental issues that concern us. So you tell us about the sustainable development.
Always been looking out, and that is the goal that is dealing with the sanitation, and it is a very critical need for our country. But as a Minister for Environment, Science and Technology, you realize that for this particular government, it is especially an area that has been set out to be tackled properly by His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. And the reason being that it is something that affects the life of the Ghanaians. Because in my ministry, what we set out to do is improve the lives of Ghanaians through the use of technology, science, and innovation. And what we have to ensure that since we seek to be ubiquitous in nature, the sector is one of the sectors that cuts across everything. So I would say that I wouldn't even limit myself to any of it, because everything about the sustainable development goals has something to do with science, technology, or an environment. So it is, when we come to, we deal with the issue of waste management. We face a very critical challenge in the management of waste. A number of proposals have gone out there to how to handle this particular waste management issues. And one of the proposals that we've had is to deal with liquid waste, and how to deal with solid waste, and also how to deal with our e-waste. What are we trying to achieve by dealing with it? We try to achieve a clean environment that will impact positively on the health of the people. So the e-waste, what we propose is a plant, and you know, you and I have been on a trip where we went to inspect a plant that dealt with almost all the electronic gadgets that we have in our system. So it is one area that we seek to ensure that we can deal with it and make sure that the cities are clean. Liquid waste, we have, as a beginning, a compost plant has already been set out by a private partner. And this compost plant is supposed to deal with the liquid waste that we discharge along the sea. It is an eyesore to see these things being, these liquid waste being discharged like that. And unfortunately, this is one of the areas that we have to pay attention to. We have already started dealing with that waste management issue, and I believe that the compost plant that has been set out is going to help one of the areas is going to help us. It's also producing fertilizers that will help improve on our food security issues. So if you are looking at sustainable development, food security is a challenge that we need to meet. We also look at our forestry. What kind of forest reserve that we want to maintain? We realize that we are depleting our forests. And I have record where the Yale University have conducted some indices, environmental indices. And we are at a threat that when it comes to forest issues, in 10 years, we are going to deplete it. It is a negative result. I have it on record. That is a negative, and therefore we must make special effort to plant that. But with all these issues in mind, we also look at the area of renewable energy. The renewable energy is one other area that we should also ensure that when we talk about renewable energy, people have always been looking at the issue of just solar lamps and solar energy. But if you look at renewable energy, that we have to pursue to make sure that our lives are better. We also look at other things like the wind, the use of wind to generate electricity, the use of hydro. We have the mini hydro too. And then we also have the I just want to remember that we need to pursue to solve our development agenda. Thank you.
Thank you. My last question. My second question is about science. You know the ministry also takes care of science and innovation. And how do you assess the current interventions in the area of science, and what will you propose? When we were there, we wanted to put focal persons, science focal persons in all the ministries, and the chief scientists taking care of all these people. What is your view about science, the promotion of science by the ministry?
Chairman, the promotion of science is something that we, as a ministry, will have to ensure that we get it right. We have different programs with GAEC. We have different programs with CSIR. The GAEC one, we are looking at the reactors for the generation of energy. We're also looking at the possibility of also generating communication links with the the use of the reactors, the avoided plants over there. But what you were referring to, I believe that you said you have set out a special, you want to set up a special unit over there. But I believe that President Akufo-Addo's government is rather setting up an advisory council that will get the ear of the president, because I believe the promotion of science have not progressed to the levels that we want because of funds availability and the political will to pursue this agenda. So what I want us to do is to ensure that we have established the advisory council whereby the president will be properly be advised to take the right steps in the promotion of science. There's also another intervention where people believe that we need to catch the scientists young. We have neglected the science departments. or the promotion of science. And it is very important that we start with the science program at a very tender age. That's why we are promoting the STEM program, to ensure that we develop people's interest in science and also ensure that we have more scientists to promote the agenda, since it is a way of life for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
The nominee was Deputy Regional Minister for Ashanti. What do you like about Kumasi?
Is the Kumasi people are highly industrious, they are highly indulgent and committed to people when you work with them. But one of the things that we love most is that we are so caring, and we also care about our city very much. Thank you.
Used to be called the Garden City. The Garden City of West Africa. The Garden City of West Africa. And you're looking at the Sustainable Development Goals, which you eloquently educated us on. What will you particularly do to help bring back those things that made Kumasi the Garden City? I know the climate change people are there to help. How would you support Professor to be able to bring back the glory of Kumasi?
The things that I wish to bring to your notice is the fact that the population of Kumasi is far unwieldy at this point in time. And therefore, it does not create space for anybody to enjoy the largesse of which we had to plant all those trees and beautiful flowers that we had. So what I know can help, the support I can give to my minister, is to look at Kumasi critically and form a collaboration with the local government ministry. And then we have a special minister who is in charge of the regional development. There is the need to create a greater Kumasi so that we can use the fringes or the various districts that we will be attracting to join Kumasi to cause a regeneration of the entire city so that we can adequately reorganize the city the way we want it. So the idea of a greater Kumasi is one of the things that can really help to bring Kumasi back into its glory.
Wish you well, but I just have one question. I hope it's a small one. What's your view on women in politics and the harsh criticisms that they often receive, given that you have been a victim of such before, and also because this committee have had to deal with a similar situation? What do you think about it?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think my view of women in politics is one of a positive one. Positive in the sense that I believe that if you consider the population of Ghana, women forms the larger proportion of people, the population of Ghana. And whatever decisions are taken, it affects us directly. Therefore, we should strive to ensure that we'll be in politics. But one of the things that you just mentioned about the derogatory ways in which women are treated is something that I have observed, that it is only a way to deter us from joining the political train. It is what I expect every woman to do, for which I have I'm going to take as a mentoring process is to tell every woman to get focused on whatever you want to do. It's being focused with whatever interruptions that might come your way shouldn't be anything that should deter you. So I believe that women, I'm giving you advice here, that just get focused and don't look left or right, but pursue your agenda to be a politician. Thank you.
So what if, when the criticisms are even coming from fellow women, what would be your advice to such women?
I don't think it's any different from what any criticism from a man. I believe that you understand what you want to do. So the whole issue is about staying focused and pursuing your agenda to its conclusion. Thank you.
Mama Pat knows that I'll ask her harmless questions. There's a view out there that the Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA, which is one of the agencies under the ministry that you will be supporting Prof to run, is probably not well supported or well equipped, or they may be derelicting and so have allowed all the environmental challenges that we are facing, Galamsey and all the indiscipline all over the place that is destroying our environment. What would be your advice to your minister in repositioning the EPA and strengthening that agency to carry out its mandate in the protection of our environment?
Thank you, Chairman. EPA is an agency that is supposed to support, regulate, and marketing is even part of EPA's functions. One of the things, my critical observation is that EPA have always been complaining about certain gaps within their operations. First, EPA has always concentrated on just the monitoring and evaluation aspect of their core functions. And I believe they have other functions for which they need to pursue. Even with the core function, the concentration and monitoring and evaluation, what do they have sought to do? There is some challenges over there because of first human resource problem. And in dealing with the human resource problem, I will support my minister to look at it from this perspective. We have a critical collaboration with the MMDs, and for that matter, local government ministry. What is critically missing in the operations of the EPA is that when you look at the structure of the MMDs, you realize that they don't even, in their operation, in setting up the subcommittees, they don't have a committee on environment, science, and technology. The only committee that exists within the MMD is sanitation. So there is the need for us to restructure the committees and ensure that we have a committee that has the responsibility to oversee science, technology, and innovation. It is my recommendation that we should take this issue very seriously and set up this particular committee under the MMDAs. And I believe I'm going to support my minister to have a close discussion with the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, and we have to ensure that in our first year, we would really look at reversing this position and ensuring that we have a committee that is directly responsible for that. Because what will happen, therefore, is let's take the issue of Galamsey. If we have a committee that is responsible for the environment, I don't think things can just go on without the district and municipal councils taking serious action to address this particular position.
There is a very exciting promise in the MPP manifesto, page 98. Expand the research and development capabilities of the country through the establishment of regional technology parks. I've looked at the 2017 manifesto under your ministry, pages 81 to 84. The budget, sorry. I've looked at the budget, the 2017 budget, and this manifesto promise has not yet been captured. It doesn't find expression in the 2017 budget. So I just want to find out from you when you think that the government will start rolling out these technology parks, and if you can throw light on the technology parks agenda of President Akufo-Addo.
Honorable Honorable Chair, I believe you agree with me that we have a 4-year mandate, and this is just the beginning of governance. So I believe that in due course, if given the nod, my minister and I will put together that action plan to see its realization.
And to state that not many of our women accept to do the rigorous and sometimes the vicious politics of Ghana, and therefore pursuant to deepening the empowerment of women and women taking their pride of place in our public political life, I ordinarily will not have a question. Suffice it to join the Honorable Okujeto in a comment about strengthening the regulatory mandate of the Environmental Protection Agency pursuant to Act 490 of 1994, in particular the citing of telecom mass and its electromagnetic effect on citizens, and in particular other related issues of citing petroleum fuel stations across the country. There are many Ghanaians who feel that the EPA is at a disservice to the citizen to the advantage of corporate entities. If I can just get your comment on that, I think I can earn it out of reverence and respect for Mama Pat. And Chairman, I'll be done.
Chairman, I think the citing of these mass and fuel stations is an aging problem that we need to look at. Our cities are growing, and therefore it has become a big challenge as to where to site most of these filling stations. You will agree with me that most of them were sited outside the heavily densely populated areas. But with time, migration and urban expansion has caught up with it. I think if given the nod, we are going to look into this issue, go into, for expert advice, go into the issue, and find a way of addressing this particular problem. But I know that you agree with me that we know it has been a challenge for EPA. But one of the few things that I've observed that has not been done by EPA is to educate and let people understand their operations. So education forms a critical part of EPA's responsibility, for which they have neglected for a while. So I believe with education, we can reposition all these issues and ensure that the right thing is done. Thank you.
As for the environment, we know what is wrong and we know what we want to do. But science and innovation, we have gold in the land, but we don't have technology. So Chinese come and they bring their technology and some peanuts, money, and they take it and we get peanuts. We have oil under the sea. We don't have technology. Americans come with their technology and their money, and we get a little. Even agric science, we have some of the most fertile lands, and yet we can't feed ourselves properly. We import food. Can you tell how are you going to use science to get us to extract the abundance of resources that God has endowed this country with, to help us get food in abundance, to extract our oil, and to create small farm implements so that farming is no longer tedious? I want some ideas.
Mr. Chairman, I think one of the things that we have been looking at is the Catch Them Young initiative. What we have, as a country, have been doing is we have actually ignored the sciences, just for the simple reason that the arts have actually been looked at by students as subjects that you pursue and you are sure of making it. It is very important that we are able to elaborate on the need for the sciences and ensure that we train more scientists to take up the responsibility of ensuring that the science that we know becomes our way of life. It is therefore critical that we allocate a lot of resources into the science sector. What is required is also to have a close sector collaboration with the Ministry of Education to ensure that whatever programs, we look at our curricula properly and we look at our syllabus and ensure that we enhance that syllabus. It becomes more practical and more interesting for people to use and apply to our daily lives. So these are some of the proposals that we got. We first looking at resources and then developing the interest of the students to pursue the sciences. Thank you.